Hey, what's going on, guys? Super quick before I get the video started. If you guys pay attention to the tier list, I actually forgot to add why Ichigo and Grimmjow to the tier list, but I did add them after, the tier list was completed. So if you're watching the video and you don't see why Ichigo and tier list, do not worry. After you see the tier list, another clip is gonna play of me adding why Ichigo and Grimmjow to the tier list and give you guys my opinion on them. Anyways, enjoy the video. Hello, how's it going, guys? I hope you are doing well today and welcome back to another video. I finally got some time to go ahead and work on a updated tier list for you guys. I know a lot of people have been asking to make an updated tier list ever since the new characters came out. So here it is right here. Now before I get into the tier list, I'd like to go over two things. Number one, this is my personal opinion. If you feel a different way about a certain character, it is totally fine. You don't have to be offended or anything about what I think about them. This is just my personal opinion right here. And number two, I'm not gonna go super deep into characters because there's like 50 characters that I need to go over, and the video is gonna be super long. And the characters that are obviously bad, like Jinta for example, I'm just gonna put down here and not even go over them at all, so the video doesn't take too much time. And one more thing, actually, I'm just gonna be going based off of the character skills. I'm not gonna count War Souls and Awakened Weapons, cause we know how good Mayuri is with his Awakened Weapon. But I'm just gonna purely go off of character skills and no Awakened Weapon and no War Soul. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump in. First character on the list we got right here is Kensei. Now Kensei just recently came out with Rookia. Actually, they're right next to each other. And he's pretty good. He introduced a new feature called Taunt, which is pretty good. He has a low chance to activate Taunt, and every time he uses his rage attack, he gets a 20% increase in block chance, which is absolutely big. So I can say super good. We got the new Rookie right here. This is the new one, by the way, not the school uniform one. She's also pretty good. I like her. She's an Azure Dragon, which is pretty big. She attacks all enemies. She has a chance to freeze. So she's overall pretty good, and I actually believe she lowers the attack of the enemies as well. So she is pretty good. Now we got Orahime. Orahime I'm gonna put in C tier. Actually, here's why I'm gonna put Orahime in C tier. Now she's one of the very few healers in the game, and she heals one specific row, and the heal she gives is actually pretty decent, and she can be upgraded to an SSR in the future, so I think she's pretty good. Even after she gets upgraded to an SSR, she's gonna get even better, so I think Orahime is actually alright if you just simply want her for heals. Isane is a pretty bad healer, honestly. Izuru goes right here. Okay, now this is Bankai Toshira. This is the new one and not the old one. I'm gonna put an A tier right here. Yep, I'm not gonna put him in S or Godly tier, and here's why. He is super good, right? Don't get me wrong, he's absolutely amazing. But if you compare him to the other UR characters we got, he does not offer as much as they do. He lowers critical chance and has a 20% or 25% chance to freeze the enemies. And he actually also builds up shields for himself, which is pretty nice. But still, if you compare him to the other UR characters, he doesn't offer as much as they do, and that's why I put him in A tier. We got Ikaku, he can go right here. Joshua, I'm gonna put in C tier. His critical chance is super good, especially because when he rage attacks, if he gets a critical on the rage attack, he can rage attack again. But for him to be able to do that, he's gonna need really high level War Souls, and he's gonna also need a lot of support characters around him to get his critical chance up. So because he needs a lot of support, I only put him in C tier. Pochi easily goes in Godly. Now let me just illustrate a little. Now, Pochi is free to play, right? I'm taking free to play into consideration big time because it's really important. Most of the players are actually free to play. For Kenpachi to be free to play and be that good is a really big deal, right? His mastery skill does a shit ton of damage. His rage attack gives a really nice crit boost to the back row, and he has pretty good stats. And like I said, he's free to play, which is a big factor here. As long as you start on a new server, you can go ahead and obtain him. That is why I put him all the way at the top. We got Ganju here. Then we got Eisen. I'm gonna put Eisen in A tier. Um, last tier list I made, I actually had him all the way at the top, but I think he definitely fell off a little bit because he's good, right? But like I said, with all these new SSRs and new Rs come out, there's options that are. Oh my gosh, sorry. I want to cough, but it's not coming out at all. I'm so sorry. But yeah, there's many single target options that you can actually get that are pretty good. So that's why Eisen I put only in A tier and not S tier. But like I said, he's still pretty good. High single target damage and has a chance to disorient the enemy. Cone is super cool, but unfortunately he goes all the way at the bottom. That was actually alright in 1v1s. She's usable in Kenpachi Carnage maybe. Okay, now Mayuri. If we're talking awakened weapons, I'd probably put him in A tier, but because we're not going over awakened weapons, I'm only gonna put him in even D tier, honestly. He literally is not good at all with his awakened weapon. We got Uryu right here. Uryu is pretty good. Ishida, I should call him actually. Ishida's pretty good. He almost crits every single time, if not every single time, when he uses his attacks, and he gives a pretty nice crit boost to the back row as well. Momo is whatever, he's whatever. Ooh, Matsumoto. Once again, Matsumoto, I'm gonna put in A tier because she's very, very free to play friendly, and she can carry you big time in Extreme Challenge, and not just Extreme Challenge, in many, many other game modes, from Arena to Story to Extreme Challenge. Matsumoto is just used by almost every single one, even Wells, who start off the game early, will still probably use her on the team for a while till they get a better option. Matsumoto is just great. She's free to play and she does a lot of work for you. Renji, I'm gonna go ahead and put in C tier. He has a 20% chance to stun that doesn't actually happen at all. Unohana, I'm also gonna actually, I'm gonna put her in B tier. Um, Here's why. There is barely any healers in the game, as I said earlier. She does actually help you gain rage faster as well, so you can rage attack, and she does heal the whole team. So in squad boss or maybe like the defend the Karakura town event, she can actually be super good as she will support the whole team to stay alive and deal more damage. Now this is the Ogee Rookia. I'm actually going to put her in D tier just because she has that 15% crit chance increase. I see a lot of people using her as a support character in Arena, so she's not too bad. Her crit chance is super nice. Byakuya's, this is a hard one. Okay, A tier. Byakuya, when you get him, if you spend money, because you cannot get him as a free to play, until you get to level 60, but if you do spend money, he will also carry you just like Matsumoto super hard early on. But honestly, right now I'm level 68, and I can see him falling off slowly, right? Like, I feel like he's falling off slowly, and, you know, in a couple of months, I feel like he might not even be used at all. Like, he starts off super, super good, but I feel like he just starts to fall slowly and slowly. Alright, we got Shuhei. He can just go here. Okay, an S tier for Shinsui. Now, Black Tortoise is very overpowered, but also very expensive to make. Running a full Black Tortoise team is not easy, honestly. You're going to need a lot of resources, and it's going to be super hard for a free-to-play. But if you're able to get Shinsui in a full Black Tortoise team, he's an absolute monster, right? Like, he is an absolute monster. He heals himself. He has super high stats, and his skills are just the perfect skills for, you know, a tank. He heals himself, he has lifesteal as well, and he has a crit chance increase, and he does way more damage against attack speciality characters. Shinsui's super good. He definitely deserves the S tier. So if one I'm gonna give B tier, her ultra crit is a pretty cool ability, and I believe she's actually the only one who has it in the game as of right now. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. But as single target damage, she actually does do pretty good damage to a single target, so she's not too bad, and she does also have that chance to insta kill, which is pretty cool. Shinji is another S tier. Shinji is good, right? And I actually think there's an error with his rage attack. If you go to the character and go to his rage attack, it says it attacks an enemy column, but I'm pretty sure he actually attacks the whole team, because in story mode of the game, he attacks the whole team, and his rage attack damages only 130%. 130% is usually the attack damage for AoE characters. So I actually think he's an AoE character and he doesn't just attack an enemy column. But anyways, he's super good against healing. He prevents a lot of healing. He also gives a boost to all the other visors. He's a pretty good character, and he's a bird, which is nice since bird is pretty weak right now. Now we got Lisa. Lisa goes in B tier as well. So Lisa says that she attacks the enemy back row in her rage attack, but I don't know if that means one or two enemies, because Tosin says he attacks the back row and he attacks the whole enemy back row, but Soifon also says she attacks the back row, but she only attacks one character from the back row. So I don't know if she attacks the whole team or a single target, but I think it's a single target because it has a whopping 285% attack, which is super high for her to attack the whole back row. So I'm pretty sure it's just a single target. And what's cool about Lisa is that she heals every single soul hall: Black Tortoise, Azure, Tiger, and Bird. So whatever team you run her on, she can give a boost to the whole entire team. Hiyori also gets a B tier. Hiyori's pretty cool. She's like the perfect character to run right next to Ukiura since they're both birds and they both do lifesteal. And they're also both tanks. So she's a pretty good tank to run, for a bird team if you need one. Moshiro, I'll give her a C tier. He also goes in C tier. He actually does pretty alright single target damage. But other than that, both of these characters really they have really high stats, but as skills and whatever, they don't do anything special. Tessai, I think I'm gonna give Tessai a C tier. He's honestly not bad. His 20% chance to silence happens to me frequently, unlike Renji, whose 20% chance to stun never happens. And he also does counter damage. He's like the only character who I believe has counter damage right now. So he's not bad at all just because he has his own skill. Chad right here. I think Tosin also gets a C tier. Tosin attacks his enemy back row. Before the new characters came out, Tosin would have probably been higher because there was not many other options, but now that there's other options, I don't think he's that good, honestly. Even as an Azure who attacks first round and he attacks the back row, I still don't think that makes him any better than C tier in my opinion. Okay, this is the OG Toshiro, also another C tier. I've seen so many people complain that he never freezes. Honestly, I don't know what to tell you because I have not personally used him, but I've seen it so much that I do believe it. But he has a character, he's not bad, right? He does alright damage. His chance to freeze might be broken, but hopefully they fix it if it is broken. But other than that, other than like freezing, and he does actually increase the defense of your characters, or no, I think he decreases the defense of the enemy team. Tell me which one was right. I'm sorry, guys. It's actually pretty hard to memorize all the character skills and whatever, and that's another reason why this video took a while to come out. Urahara, I'm gonna put in B tier. Now, we all know that Bleach teams are a meta. We've seen it happen with a lot of whales, actually. A lot of whales like to run like full Azure Bleach team, and Kisuke is like the perfect character for that team because there isn't many tank options for a team like that, and he actually has really good tanking stats, and he gives a shield to the whole enemy team to keep them alive. So for Bleach teams, just because he supports them so much, I put him in B tier. Ororo right here. I'm gonna put her in C tier. She as a character herself doesn't honestly do much, but the boost she does give to female characters is actually super high, which is why I give her a C tier. But as a character herself, she does not offer much, and she is a bird, which is not very common. Yamamoto still godly tier, right? Even after the new characters, he's an absolute monster. He does really high amounts of damage. He had the chance, to stun the enemies and does burning damage. And he's an Azure as well. Yamamoto is just absolutely amazing. Yoruichi, I'm gonna give B tier. Now, damage-wise and stats-wise, she's absolutely horrible. However, what's it called? She is an Azure who supports tank characters. That's honestly pretty cool because, in my opinion, I feel like the best thing to do in a game like this is to run 4 tanks and 2 damage dealers. And she's an Azure, so if you put her with like Yamamoto and 4 other Black Tortoises, it's gonna work just fine because her and Yamamoto are gonna get the 2% Azure boost, and the other 4 Black Tortoises are gonna get the insane buff she gives to defensive characters. So she can actually, like I said, as a character, she doesn't do much, but just like what's her name? Just like Yachiro right here, she gives a really good boost to defensive characters. Yumichika is right here. Zongetsu is gonna be an S tier. He was godly in the last video, but I think he needs to go down to S tier now. He is also free to play friendly. After I'd say maybe 3-4 weeks, you should be able to get him, maybe a month. But he is super good, right? One of his big things is he reduces rage, especially for the new event like the Defend the Karakura town. He's absolutely amazing for it, and he just reduces rage, which is helpful literally everywhere. And he does good damage, and he's an Azure, so he definitely deserves an S tier spot. Now we got Okiora. He goes in the godly right up there. If you guys watched my video going over the new UR characters, you'll see why I put him in godly, because we have not seen him in action yet, but just simply by going off of his skills, it seems like he's almost impossible to kill because of how much heals and lifesteal he can do. And he also does super high damage for a tank, and that's why he gets a spot all the way there. He's actually alright for 1v1s, I heard, so I'll put him here. Luffy's actually alright. Every time he attacks, he does increase his attack and defense, which is not too bad. But I believe he's a bird, correct me if I'm wrong, but he doesn't offer anything special. Love, I'm gonna actually put in B tier, because every time he takes critical, now keep in mind, Love is a tank, a Black Tortoise tank, and every time he takes a critical hit, he increases his damage rate, and he increases his damage reduction rate, which is obviously very big since he's a tank. And he attacks all enemies, so when he increases his damage rate, that's really nice, since he's going to be raging all the enemies whenever his rage attack comes up. Yami is a really weird one. I feel like when we actually see him in action, he might get a higher spot, but his skill, I feel like it's described really weird, at least for me. I find it hard to understand. So it says he deals a fixed amount of damage, which I don't know what that really means. I know what fixed damage means, but I don't know how they're gonna calculate that fixed amount of damage. And he heals himself for 8% of the enemy's attack. And he gets these furry stacks. Every time you get one furry stack, Fury, I'm sorry, oh my gosh, I said furry. Okay, sorry, I'm just talking so much, guys. I'm kind of messing up quite a bit now. But Fury, every time he gets a Fury stack, he increases his maximum HP amount by 10%. But I'm not sure how you're going to be able to make use of that if he's just going to constantly attack. Even if he does heal for 8% of the enemy's attack, that's not a lot, honestly. Now, we got Ishin. He actually goes in B tier. Ishin is actually really good, honestly, in my opinion. He has a 50% chance to bleed the enemies. He does attack all enemies. And he actually instantly deals DOT damage to the enemies. If they have a DOT on them and he attacks them, they will take 1 stack of damage from their DOT they have on them. And then Ryuken is A tier. Ryuken is basically like the upgraded Ishida. He's actually a usable, like Ishida's good, but unfortunately he's not very usable because of his low stats. But he's actually usable because he has really high stats. He gives better crit boost than Ishida, and he also gives a boost to himself, and he's an Azure Dragon, which is very important. Now I'm gonna put Coma right over here. As you guys can see, it's like a trend. Most of the tanks end up in C tier, and I don't know why. I just feel like that's where they honestly most belong. That's why I said Black Tortoise teams are expensive, because you need to make them 5 or 6 star to actually make them be able to use. You can definitely still use them, you know, not being 6 stars, but where they really shine is obviously them at 6 stars. He's actually pretty good. He can tank super hard if you build him right, but he doesn't deal very good damage, and he's just a tank. Like I said, tanks are just really weird in this game, especially the ones that came out in the first batch. they're just very weird if they're not 6 stars. This is just my opinion. I'm sorry, if it's weird, but that's what I think of them. Gin, I'm actually gonna give him B tier, and here's why. Um, Gin basically has this ability. If the enemy has bleed status on them, your team can deal 10% damage. Keep in mind that ability can activate even if he's in the support section in the guard stance. So that's why he goes in B tier, because you can literally just put him in the guard stance. He won't be doing anything, but he's giving that amazing boost to your team. And that's why I give him a B tier. Hanataro, I'm sorry, but you're down here. And then finally, the main character himself, Ichigo Kurosaki. Oh, and I just realized I actually forgot to do why Ichigo. Okay. But okay, so Ichigo, I'm gonna put an A tier. Ichigo's super good. He's free to play, which is the most important part. He's upgradable to UR, and I do believe this is just my assumption, but I do believe he might get like a UR plus upgrade in the future. But he does pretty good damage. He's a Bleach character. He's free to play. You can use him pretty easily in formations, and he just fits really well with your team. So that's why he gets an H tier. Okay, I am so sorry, guys. Like I said in the last clip, I forgot to add Why Ichigo, and I just realized I forgot to also add Grimmjow, so I just cut the clip and I actually added them on the list. But Grimmjow gets a godly tier. Grimmjow does only attack one enemy, which kind of sucks, but his abilities are stupidly insane. His 1-to-1, I believe, is what it's called. No, Mark to 1, 1-to-1, whatever his ability is called. But his ability is super dope. It deals more damage, whoever is marked with it. And once you kill the marked person, it goes to another person. So for Grimmjow, it's always dealing more damage, and he has a chance to even do another master his kill the same turn. So Grimmjow is super good. Why Ichigo is obviously also god tier. He attacks all enemies, and every time he kills an enemy, he gets a damage increase, which is absolutely big. And he also gains rage for every enemy on the field. He's just like a super good version of Byakuya, I'd say, maybe, because he does also do bleed damage. So why Ichigo is also super good. But yeah, this is it for the tier list, guys. Like I said, I'm sorry that I messed it up in the first clip. I just had to add why Ichigo and Grimmjow. But anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the tier list, please like and subscribe, and also turn on notifications so you do not miss any future videos. Let me know what you think of the tier list or any specific character in general that you'd like to inquire about, and please leave a comment if you have any questions. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for sticking around if you watched the whole video, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Goodbye.